full.
Welcome to another. Okay.
Oh, we live. It's okay. I'm just boom.
Okay.
There we go.
Welcome to another episode of Whiskey Sour Libations and Conversations. This your girl Dom back for the first time. I don't know why Ludacris just popped in my head when I said that. But yeah, welcome everybody. Don't forget we have the candles that are live. Mother's Day is coming up. I will be sending a promo shortly, so you guys can get your Mother's Day gifts on and popping. And I am actually currently working on revamping the entire website, so you guys can kind of take a look in to my life. You can see, my photos and stuff and videos from my Paris trip and other trips that I haven't even uploaded yet. I'll be sitting on content. And I have to stop doing that. But I want to welcome everybody. I am awake. There might have been some whiskey in my coffee. And I want to welcome my guests to the show.
The best part of waking up.
It's whiskey in your cup. Welcome, Blake. Welcome back.
Yo, nice to be back. Back. I'm gonna see if I can switch up for the one time.
Okay.
Lighting just a little bit optimal with this sunlight. Let me see if that does anything.
Always a tussle with Blake is around. Always a tussle.
Always. It's a labor of love, You take the tussle with the greatness. You feel me?
Oh my gosh, I can't.
All right, cool. We'll do that.
Okay.
All
right. Hi, Blake. Are you situated over there? Are you ready to go?
I think I'm situated as I'm gonna be. Don't cut this out. People got to see.
Okay.
What up, though?
I'm well. I am awake. I am working. I am trying to be the best version of myself. Trying to catch up. I'm really not jet lagged this time. I think because my trip was so quick, it didn't really catch up with me. So here we are. We are thriving and surviving.
You make going to Paris and coming back sound like you just went to war. Like you had an amazing time. You are back.
I did. I had but a lot of times people really experience like terrible jet lag, and I did it. Like when we got there, I got there in the morning, we hit the ground running, and so we kept moving. And even coming back, I got back, I had a direct flight back and did some work, so I couldn't just to stay up because of that 9-hour time difference. But I'm good. I'm good. I feel good. So here we are.
I'm happy to hear it. Happy you're back.
Yeah,
I'm in LA, but still.
I know you're in New York, where Paris is on like a 6 or 7 hour flight.
Yeah, that's like a normal thing from here. That's like a commitment coming straight from LA. Like, what's quicker? Like going from the West Coast, y'all fly all the way across. Like, it's still, I guess, flying across and still going across the Atlantic is still quicker, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I pretty much slept.
Like Asia, I don't think.
I pretty much slept that whole flight. I'm not even gonna lie. Like those 12 hours, because the night before we went out and stayed out mad late. Like we have been staying out like super late every night. And the last night,
or something.
Yeah, look, the last night we went to Pink Mama for dinner, and then went to Hotel Cost for dessert. And I have been trying to get to Hotel Cost for the cheesecake. And when I tell you immaculate and the ice cream, oh my God, to die.
I can imagine.
So got home late and I just threw my shit in the bag and was like, all right, we got to be up in like 2 hours to go to the airport.
No, that's the vibe though. Like, you have plenty of time to rest and catch up on sleep when you're home. Like when you're somewhere out, like especially like a place like France, you want to soak it all in. You want to be there for as much of it as you can. You can sleep on the way home.
Right. And I think I had like emergency, that was like my best friend. Taking, like eating, drinking the emergency, just because traveling is so fucking exhausting, like just in general. And I'm trying to get. I need to get an appointment for global entry. Because I hate waiting in lines. And I don't have pre-check, and I'm like, no, I need global entry. So,
I mean, it's all worth it. You know, when you know you're about to move in a certain kind of way, the time you spend making that easier is going to make all of the difference when you get back to it. So I would encourage you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I wanted to talk to you because I was just telling you, I hit you up the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, like we had a super dope experience, and it was hella random. My play cousin was just so happened to be in Paris at the same time, and she works for Robert Glasper, and was like, "Hey, I want to come to this, the show at the Louis Vuitton Foundation. Mos Def is gonna perform and be there, blah 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 blah." So we go have this like VIP experience. It was so much fun, and I was like, "Man, Blake would have loved this." It's so funny. I'm like, what's Blake doing? What is Blake up to?
I appreciate that. So, I mean, clearly that's like some really enjoyable stuff to do. But what in that said me? You feel me? Like out of that.
You know what? It was just like the whole. I think like the performance part, just it being like so random, but it was just something about it that was like Blake would have enjoyed this. And I think it was, I don't know if it was because it was such a randomly like intimate experience or whatever. And I'm kind of thinking about us being in college and the whole Lupe Fiasco thing. But yeah, so I was like, man, Blake would have loved this shit. Like, it was just a vibe. It was just dope.
We ought to let him know the Lupe story. We got it. We might as well.
Okay, y'all. We have a nickname for Blake. We call him Lupe Grupe. So Lupe Fiasco performed at our college, our university. That's how I met Blake. And Blake was I'm not going to say that he was a big Lupe Fiasco fan, but he was a Lupe Fiasco fan.
Absolutely.
And he was able to interview Lupe, and outside of that, Blake was at the front of the stage, you guys, and he was like extra with a CD and a marker. Like, sign my tape, listen to my tape. That's all I could think of. And I'm like, this nigga.
Why is he doing that?
Okay. Yeah, but this nigga, like, he is performing. And he was like, well, I wanted him to be able to remember me. But I'm like, nigga, you got an interview schedule.
So let me tell you what happened with that. Okay. So you're right. We met at Webster. You were one of the cute ones. I'm a new guy at this new school. So I'm like, noted, Dominique. Fast forward, second semester, Lupe's coming, which is like the best booking like ever for me at that time because I'm a big fan, all of that. Here's where the Lupe Grupe shit came in, right? Not so much that I wanted to be so extra in front of stage, is because the day of, his PR or whoever was his liaison between us and them for that occasion was like, well, we can't guarantee that he'll actually do the interview. So I was just like, I need him to have sympathy for me and just go ahead and talk to me because I don't want to lose this. So I'm going to be extra. I'm going to be in front of him. And his manager the whole time was just like, it's cool. We got you. Like, it's like,
yeah.
But I wanted him to be like, let me talk to this guy because I knew once I got it on camera, I had it forever, which I still do. But I didn't want to miss that. I didn't want that to fly over me. So I was willing to be extra for that. Now, for everybody else, it's like, bro, chill. But I know what was going on behind the scenes. And the people was just like, well, we don't know if you're actually doing it now. After we had set it up the whole time, like, well, we don't know if he'll do it. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to take this into my own hands. And it worked. Like, it was my biggest YouTube video for years because I didn't know how to promote anything on YouTube. But, that being him, it just caught. So, I did what I had to do. And now, ironically enough, we have a couple mutual friends, and he follows me on Twitter. And if I catch him at the right time, we're actually catching conversation. So shout out to Lupe Fiasco, man.
Lord, I'm like, Blake, I knew in my heart of the heart it was gonna work out, and I was just like, friend, you looking like you making us look crazy.
I know.
And I know.
I have a willingness. It's less now because I'm just in a different point in life and things can just happen differently. But especially when I was younger, I didn't mind looking more like an ass to get a desired result. And
No,
that
you
was
just look like the atypical. I'm gonna tell you this. What you did is no extra than what I guess a lot of people, a lot of things that I experienced out here when it comes from men. Men be, I always tell people, men be the biggest groupies, low key.
yeah, no,
It's never the chicks, it's always the dudes. So honestly, I'm gonna say, Blake, you know what? You was just ahead of your time. And
you know what? But that was me. You know what? That was me at 20. I wouldn't want to be in no kind of predicament like that at 35. Like, it's gross now. Like, for whatever the occasion, it's gross now. But at 20, it's just like, I'm still kind of a kid, and I know people know I'm young. All of these little goofy extra things I'm willing to do. But now it's disgusting. Like, all of the guys in the group, it's like, that's disgusting now. It's like, bro, if you don't have a real reason to be in front of this man, and this man ain't trying to dap it up with you, it's cool. Like, yeah. A grown man with balls just like you. But like, you know, on my kid shit, you know, I didn't mind going out like that to get that interview at that time. You know, it was goofy, but I got it accomplished.
Yeah, I think I also understand it. I guess kind of being a little more loud, or from a journalistic standpoint, because we both have the same major.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to, you know, red carpets and trying to get those interviews, you do have to be aggressive, really aggressive.
So getting a red carpet way later, maybe a few years ago, shout out to Maria Myrain, the person who like got me so many like media situations, who does PR in New York City, Maria Myrain, look her up. We were at Black Girls Rock a few years ago, and I had no idea who was gonna come through that. And we saw some of everybody, and yeah, it was like crazy. I commend you. Like, however you pull that off and you get it going, I salute you. I was the cameraman, so I didn't have to flag anybody down, but that would have been stressful. You show up with nothing, and this is like, it ends in like 20 minutes. It's like, all right, what you got? Who'd you talk to? And this is like, jeez. Like, your whole next pass could be who you managed to grab out. You know what I mean? So that's a whole nother war skill that I'm a salute everybody who does that for. Yeah. That's a lot.
I think one of the highlights is, and I recently did a red carpet for the Bad Boys of, was it Hollywood or LA?
Okay.
And it was very stressful, and I had equipment that I didn't even know about, and they had it was a whole thing. And shout out to my friend Brian for coming through to help, but we couldn't get the camera working. It was just a whole bunch of stuff, and I was just like, this is a sign, and this has never happened in the history of me being on a red carpet. And I was like, okay, I'm sleepy anyway, let's just go. But I would say the highlight of a lot of stuff would be, I would say, one, doing red carpets, you need to know who people's publicists are.
Absolutely.
Because if you call them by their first name or something, it sounds familiar to them, so they're going to look.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to be familiar, and then so that helps you to another level. Yeah, but sometimes it's just like, you might know something about a person. So prime example, Sterling Brown is from St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're at the NAACP Awards, and I'm like, what's up, St. Louis? You know, like,
yeah.
And so he's coming like over to me, like on his own, and his publicist is trying to intervene because now they have to go in because he was running late. So he was like, ask me something real quick. So as he's like walking by, I'm like, what do you miss about St. Louis? He was like, the crab ragoon. It's something that is very, very, you have to really be personable.
Yeah.
And aggressive and personable with people. And you want to be able to talk to them and ask them questions that are kind of outside the box. Yeah. Because it's always going to be, especially when it comes to a movie or whatever it is, it's going to be the same 20 questions. How can you make that question where you're not getting the same dry ass response that he is giving 20 other outlets?
Absolutely. There's a lot of what I've noticed too. You kind of have to know the people around the people sometimes, because you can get some really great information. I'm going back to that red carpet, and Beyonce's stylist came through. I'm forgetting his name now. I think Ty Hunter, something like that.
Ty Hunter.
Huh?
Ty Hunter. That well, those are he I don't think he styles her anymore, but yeah.
At that time, like he did, and he had been for a long time. So that to me was one of the like that was another like reminder that like listen, you really gotta pay attention to people, and then also don't just go for everybody else's hype, because you might get some good stuff from somebody else. That man can tell you, and we was on the red carpet, we're not looking for no craziness, but like he could give us a good take or two, something nobody else there could tell us, because he styles Beyonce, you know what I mean? Or I remember even being at a Dream listening party years ago, and everybody's trying to get the Dream. Shorty the Kid was there too. Shout out to Shorty the Kid. But everybody was trying to get to Dream, and I like noticed Lenny S at the bar. Lenny Santiago that works for he works with Jay now, but he was with Def Jam all that time. I was like, let me just talk to Lenny S. Like, Dream don't want to talk to me. He got all these women. He don't want to talk to me. But Lenny S is chilling. So I talked to Lenny S for a second. I remember like K Michelle had like politely scooped me out the way. She jumped me in line to go to the bar. That's my K Michelle story. Nothing bad, nothing mean. She just like, you know how she just like, I know you're not tripping. Get out my way so I can get to this bar. Like, all right. Hi, K Michelle. But yeah, man, you just got to know who is what, because you never know. Everybody's going to go for, the biggest thing in front of them, but there's a lot of people that's going to actually talk to you in between. Yeah. You should keep your eyes open for that if you're, moving in these kind of spaces. Because the biggest person ain't paying you no attention.
Yeah.
Dream had too much thighs in his section to ever talk to me that day, but Lady S was chilling.
Yeah, and it just, like I said, it all depends on what's happening, what's going on. Can you make that eye contact and get in there? Mm-hmm. Because there'd be a lot of people think that I'll never, or they won't stop, and it's just something, and you catch their eye, and it's just blink of an eye. So
it's a battleground. I salute everybody who throws it out in that space for sure.
Yeah, it's a headache. I'm not even gonna lie. But I want to. Blake, you are a designer, you are a producer, you are an artist, and I want to talk to you. There's this list that is floating around the internet, and it is a list of the top 50 rappers.
Oh, okay.
And on this list, I mean, Lupe Fiasco makes the list. Of course, Jay-Z and Nas. And this has to just be a joke, because Joe Budden is on this list. Who else is hella random on this list?
I will say before you move on, Joe, from a mainstream hit standpoint, does not qualify, but from a lyrical standpoint, he can fight that fight. I'll just put it that way. No, it's not gonna be for
Joe Budden that jacks off his dog.
I don't know what that man does with the dog, but as far as rapping, there's a whole lot of people just rapping, not the hits, not nothing like that. Even though he has a couple, that's not top 50. But like as far as a lyrical ability, he can down the hill about that. So if they're going off that, if he's like 48 off that, I can live with it. But go ahead.
They have Joe Budden as number 3.
Okay. Now they drunk.
Okay, because I'm like, okay, I just want to bring this to your attention. Like I'm like, this nigga is up here high.
Yeah,
and
no.
I am not.
Did he make the list?
No, I don't know who made the list. It just got reposted, and somebody had, asked like, Black women only, like, who was missing from this list? Who would y'all swap out and add to this? Because clearly it's nothing but men on this list. So yeah, I would say Nelly before I would put Joe Budden on my list.
I mean, easily, but he would say that. He'd probably say that. Like, if we're doing all around artists, he would say that. Like, he wouldn't attract these arrows. Like, he wouldn't want this. He wouldn't say that. Somebody was trying to get the viral moment. I don't know who made this list, but who's number 1?
Jay-Z. So it has Jay-Z, Nas, Joe Budden is 3, Styles P is 4, Black Thought is 5, Fabulous is 6, Jadakiss is 7, Biggie 8, Ghostface 9, Kendrick 10.
So this sounds like somebody's personal lyrical picks. If we're just going off how good somebody is lyrically, that I don't know if that's my list, but it sounds more sound. If we're going straight bars, not hits, not nothing else, just bars, that's a list that sounds way more respectable. But you know, I think we're coming from a space where we're thinking about everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not an everything list. Not everybody in that list is an everything pick for no top 10. So it sounds like a real lyrical based, lyrical miracle type of top 10, which is fine. That's the core of hip hop, but you know,
yeah,
I'm not making out my top 10 of anything.
Who would be your top 10?
So we're going all around?
All
don't
around.
Nobody on your show want to hear about no lyrical man. Okay, so all around top 10.
Wait, hold on. No man insult my audience.
Listen, I'm not going to talk to y'all about Black Thought and Fonte. Y'all don't want to hear about that. But which is fine. Let's go. J number 1.
Now you're in the hot seat.
I'm going to just go off what I feel. J number 1.
Okay.
Just because he's just ironclad as a rapper. I like this person as number 1, but he doesn't write all of his stuff. I can't make him greatest of all time. I'm going to go Kanye West.
As number 1 or number 2?
Number 2.
Okay,
number 2.
Kanye.
Number
okay.
2. Number 3. All time rapper. That's really tough. I wasn't prepared for none of this.
See, look at me hitting you with the curve. Like,
number 3. I know how guys are ranked, but I'm gonna go off what I feel. It's gonna be Jay, Kanye. Number 3. I'm gonna go Biggie number 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Tupac number 4.
Okay.
Number 5, I'm gonna go Nas because I can't put Nas not in the top 5 all time.
Okay.
Even though it's all kinds of other rappers that I'll listen to a little bit quicker, I'm gonna give that man his respect. Number 6, I'll go Eminem. Once again, He might not be my 6th favorite, but I want to give people that respect in this list just in case this joint travel.
Okay.
Number 7, I'm gonna go Nelly number 7.
Okay.
Number 8, I'm gonna go Juvenile.
Okay.
Number 9, I'll go T.I.
Okay.
And number 10, this is a group, but I don't care. I'm gonna go Outkast.
Okay. I you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I was surprised that you put Nelly.
This is just emotional.
No. I get it. I get it because we're gonna circle back to Nelly. And then you said who else? It's like Eminem is okay.
Nelly, T.I., Juvenile.
Juvenile. That's like, oh, okay.
That's emotional. That's just emotional.
Why is Juvenile emotional for you?
Let's go back to 98, 99 when my ears. So Timbaland had just really opened up my ears with like what rap can sound like with Aaliyah. Are You That Somebody? You know, that hit everybody. It was kind of like life before Are You That Somebody, life after Are You That Somebody with the baby sounds and boom, 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 all of that. And keep in mind, I produce music, so that was like boom.
Yeah, so you hearing it differently, yeah.
And we already had No Limit, and I liked them, but I didn't love them like everybody else did. It was just a little dirty for me. But I liked them. You know, there's No Limit. There's Master P. I loved them, but
he caught these niggas dirty.
Just a little bit. It was like a little. It's like gritty, but which is fine. But I remember High came out, and I was just like, this guy's gonna be something if he keep coming out with stuff. Like random. First time I saw it, little did I know that was beginning to Cash Money, right? But I remember really liking High. And then before Back That Thing Up, I remember Follow Me Now. And follow me now if you want to get on. Salute the G's and carry on. You drop and give me 50 if you do it wrong. I'm interrupted, I control it all. Like, I don't know, Juvenile, so I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. But his flows were just crazy. I be on my sheet, cheating that on ye, no words by no mean, by me, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
he's
you a
good.
diehard Juvenile fan. I
Dog,
love
early
it.
Juvenile, like so, and then back that thing up, world changer. But that same summer as back that thing up, back that ass up, whatever, you had Down Bottom. Remember Down Bottom? Do y'all niggas bust your guns? Hell yeah, we bust it. You don't remember that?
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't. Was that Drama?
So that was another one. That was Swiss Beats who did the beat and he did the hook, and then Dragon rapping, but Juvenile was on it.
Dragon. That's what I was like. I know it started with a D.
Like 9, giving you stage fright. Do everybody slow when I bust with the lead pipe. No, say it right.
Okay.
Juvenile hang tight. Say it right. No Page Mike, and make sure he got all the all right. Woo.
Okay.
Like
go off.
So, and then he had like, you understand, like, it just goes on and on. Like his flow. And like the little, he would always say something in it too. Like it wouldn't be nothing like, he wouldn't come off deep, but he would say something a little bit. Up until then, I'm gonna be thugging behind that project building, smoking that 5B with the ghetto children, plotting on a way that we can make a million long.
Okay.
I love Juvenile, man. Like I don't think people really caught early Juvenile. So like I stayed with him after that 400 Degrees, boom. He became like a regular like hit Cash Money guy, but like it kind of calmed down a little bit, but he was still around and he still was doing his thing. I stayed with him. I stayed checking for those Juvenile albums. So like stuff moved on from that wave, but like he might have been my first real favorite rapper, like that I really felt. So that was an emotional pick right there, like Juvenile.
Well, I see you. I'm not mad at it. Like, and I always say like it's the same thing when it comes to rap. I'm not the hugest, like, where I've listened to this artist and I can break this down. Like, I am not a music journalist or anything like that. I just know what I like, and this person might have some songs I might like and whatnot.
And that's the magic of it. That's the magic of it.
And it's the same thing when it comes to like sports, you know, like I'm not, everybody's like, oh, you should really get it. And I said, I am not a person that is super knowledgeable. I'm a spectator, but I'm not about to be in people's ass about certain stuff because I failed basketball in school. I didn't want to do the report. I could tell you who created the sport.
Yeah,
but
a lot of people couldn't tell you that. So,
but I'm like, I don't know enough where I can be on, you know, I could be, you know, I could say, okay, this is how I feel. This is what I'm saying. I'm picking up on this.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And it's funny because when I think of like we talk, I think Nelly is extremely underrated.
Yeah, for sure.
And people are always say, you say that because you're from St. Louis and you just want to put up on the whole team. I'm like, nah. I think that I don't know if it was beats or what has really taken Nelly out the forerunning, like what's going on now. And I think a lot of it too is just that, you know, a lot of the stuff that millennials listen to, I don't understand. I don't understand this lean culture that we're in. I think maybe that Nelly had a hard time evolving and adapting to what is going on now.
I have a theory. I've always had a theory about that.
Okay, I would love to hear this theory.
So I'm gonna go off my anecdotal lens, but I think this might have been a lot of people. There was rap the way it was working in the early 2000s, all the way up to the mid 2000s, but something about Kanye and the way he made his music and made his hits and made artistry along with the hits like count, kind of, when you got back to it, pure commercialism didn't stick with hip hop the same way. You kind of had to be about something. Even Soulja Boy, he was super about what he was about. Now we looked at it as silly, even though we enjoyed it at the party. We didn't take it seriously, but he was super Soulja Boy. This is what I do. This is what blah blah. Jeezy, this is what I do. Blah blah blah. Like you have those guys that kind of stuck to what they do, and that's what it is.
I mean, Nelly, that's how we still have Pusha T being so relevant, because I stand Pusha T. I know what am I gonna get on the next album? Dope.
Yeah, 1,000%. And he's like the most pure example of that. But at the same time, when Nelly came with the Brass Knuckles, remember Brass Knuckles felt a little funny.
Yeah,
like we was with him, but it felt like the part of him that was still connected to like Us was out here like he was just pure pop. Like I remember he came out with Party People with Fergie. It's like this feels completely commercial, but whatever. He's Nelly. He'll have something else, and everything just felt like like I'm going for everybody else, but I'm leaving not just St. Louis, but I'm leaving like not just St. Louis, not just anybody's hood, but I'm leaving like the actual culture behind, and I'm just trying to make these big pop hits. And usually he balanced the culture a little bit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I can fuck with that. I can fuck with that.
So that's even like with Just a Dream, because I remember that one was actually like a pop hit for him.
Yeah,
it didn't hit us the same, even though I was happy that he had another hit, because like none of what he was doing in that era hit culture. It was all pop, not just pop in culture like he usually did.
I mean, even now it's still, you know, he had a song with like some country artist recently,
which I get.
And if you listen, when you know your role and you find your lane, you stick to it. Absolutely. But I also feel like it would be dope to have something just come out of nowhere, because I so even when they had the verses, and people were like, "Oh, Luda is gonna kill Nelly," I'm like, "No, I think y'all be forgetting the heavy hits that Nelly has now. Nelly goofy ass didn't play a lot of those.
That's what hurt. That's what really.
I'm like, what is this? Diddy song that we don't know? What?
You remember when the Rams lost the Super Bowl that second time? That's what Nelly going against Luda was for me. Like it was just like, oh no, because this is where we get reminded. We did get reminded, but Luda took all of his B-sides and smaller hits seriously and had them ready. And Nelly, he'll have his hits, but then he'll play some. Don't nobody. It's like, bro, we don't play.
We don't know that, and I'm like, who? And we forget that Nelly had like this on like a lot of like him and Murphy were like on a lot of remixes, like Kiss remix. I feel like he definitely did not play that, and I'm like, nigga, what is you doing?
That's it. It was heartbreaking because I just wanted us to have that, and he's the one guy from the city who's lasted. Like everybody else has kind of came up and came back down, but he kind of like everybody remembers him. Everybody still references him with St. Louis. So I wanted him to have that, but luckily he's all right.
You know, it's interesting because I think what happened, and I'm confident this is every other city, but we just might not hear about it as much because it's always going to be somebody beefing. Somebody always want to be the top reigning person, and I think that we always talk about from our hood. You know, Nelly and Chingy was beefing at one point in time. I think Jaquan and Chingy might have beefed at one time, and there was all these different things that happened. Whereas if they could have collectively worked together, we could have sustained at that time, you know. And even now, like I still like when you get ready to go out and do something tough, I'm throwing on Hood Hop. Yeah. That beat.
Yeah. No, Hood Hop was, it felt good because we didn't quite have that person come out and make nothing like real street from St. Louis. So it's like, okay, now we got that. Yeah, just so y'all know, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think their behavior when it came to that really comes from St. Louis's culture on that end of things with the entertainment, where somebody got to be the popping king over everybody else. Yeah. And you don't get a scene or a city that lifts up or elevates if it's only one or two people.
Yeah.
5,000 people gotta be lit in order for the whole city. You know what I mean? Like being in New York, it ain't no way for no one person to be over nothing. Like it's gotta be thousands of people that's doing great things in order for the whole city to be a certain thing. So I never had that mentality, but I definitely, you know, disowned it being here long enough, because it's like, yo, I know I can see how St. Louis could lift itself up, and we got to get away from one person popping or one thing being it until the next thing comes. Everything needs to go at the same time. Yeah. Nobody's king of the city. Everybody needs to have a crown. That's the way everything lifts up. That's the way other cities will check for you. We have the only like viable city for like the whole region, other than KC. But we have the only viable city for the whole region. We should be running it out there. You know what I mean? Like, we got to put it together. So that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, like, it's a shame that they beefed. But Nelly kind of floated away from culture with his music in the late 2000s, and I felt it. Like, I think post Ye, you kind of had to be about something, or else you was gonna come and go. You know what I mean? And he was already the man, but like the hits didn't stick the same.
Yeah, no, I can fuck with that, and I feel like it's just always something, and I'm like, I could go for another wave of Nelly.
I think R&B would love to have Nelly back, like the way he carried his tune.
And shout out to R&B making it cute. I'm gonna say the R&B for me never left. It just wasn't as mainstream as what we are used to R&B being, because I mean we know how that works out. But I mean, R&B is definitely about to have a crazy reign.
I'm gonna give LA credit for bringing R&B back strong, because the wave and the sound and the vibe from a lot of those R&B artists out there kind of gave everybody something to float on and be like, okay, this is how modern R&B can sound. We don't have to sound like 2005 or, no, like this
we ain't got to sound like 1993.
Exactly. This is what we can, so I'm gonna give LA credit for that. It's a wave now for real, and we can just be like R&B. It ain't gotta have like, 2 scoops of pop if it don't want to. It don't gotta be a little like a bunch of rapping and call it R&B. It's R&B, and I give LA credit for that for sure.
Who are some of your like R&B artists that you are looking forward to seeing like elevate and really put on out there?
R&B artists that I want to see elevate and put on out there. I'm thinking of people's names right now because I get a little bit of everybody randomly all over the place, so I don't be remembering names. I'm gonna be honest. I'm listening to a lot of like producers and DJs who will feature like R&B people. So, but I'm getting names because I said that. So I don't know where Symphony is right now, but I need him to come back. Like, hurry up. Her is growing on me, and I know she's been popping, but like it's been like a steady build up. But I'm starting to just hear her different now. I think her track with K Tronada made me go back and be like, you need to listen to her like more. SZA, God damn, SZA. Where's her album? Like SZA, I'm gonna give SZA credit too, and I'm gonna just credit her 7 years in St. Louis. I'm gonna give SZA her credit because the Control album sparked me back. Like, okay, what's everybody doing? I kind of was ignoring a lot of what was going on because I was a little bored with R&B, like traditional R&B, but she kind of brought me back. Like, this is what we got going on. So SZA for sure. In my mind, Doja Cat is R&B, but I know it's also like hip hop and pop. So like, I don't know if that qualifies for you. But who else? I don't know. I think those are like my top people that I can think of right now. There's a lot of random acts that I listen to. Spotify. It's just people that's just not huge. I'm gonna give Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars their credit.
Okay.
I know that's not like.
Oh no! And that was not shade. That came out like it was shade.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna give them their credit because they didn't like. They came out with some. They made R&B. They didn't make R&B a wave. It was already a wave, but they made something huge and didn't compromise the sound. Like this is our parents' R&B. And they just got a charming, Bruno, but like even with Anderson working with him, they had a real charming way of reintroducing it, and it just felt great. You know what I mean? The whole album, we know, Leave the Door Open, but Smoking Out the Windows, low key, like how there's the pop hit that go crazy, and then like sometimes it's the other song, like Drop It Like It's Hot is crazy, but Let's Get Blown just hit a little bit more for you. Smoking Out the Window hit just a little bit more for me. Like I don't know. Even though I love Leave the Door Open, so stuff like that. I'm gonna think of hella people when I get off this call too. I'm gonna be mad.
Okay. So I'll give you a list because I didn't give you a rap one. I feel more comfortable not getting attacked talking about things that I know.
Yeah.
Mariah the Scientist.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Chloe Bailey.
Yes. 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 Them two.
Lucky Day he's
Okay.
on his second album,
He's
but I'm a
dope.
huge
He's
Lucky
dope.
Day fan.
I'm catching up, but he's dope.
Khalid just dropped an amazing, and y'all remember Khalid from Semi, like Location, which is super kind of poppy. But
On the Way is my favorite Khalid song, but it's a couple years old now.
Oh, with Black?
And Ty Dolla $ign, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
and his sound has completely flipped.
Okay.
And I enjoy watching artists be the artists that they actually want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's why it's been so fun watching this journey, because he has a song with Smino. Shout out to Smino. He's from the Crib.
Yeah.
And Ari Lennox. That
Absolutely.
is amazing. Scenic Drive is bomb. And then I'm going to say, who else have I been listening to over and over again? I'm gonna say I'm gonna say that I there's somebody's, hold on, let me honestly
if I can locate my phone, I can legit tell you some more people. I don't even know where it's at right now.
I can't, I've been wanting to stan Normani, and it's just it's something there that's like I want more from Normani. Like the song with Cardi, Love It, follow-up single is like, okay, cool. But it's something that I want to pull out of her. But Coco Jones is about to take it.
Thanks,
Coco Jones she plays Hillary. She's been in a lot of stuff, but she's in the revamping of Bel Air, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and Coco Jones' vocals are crazy. But yeah, and it's funny that you bring up her, because I've been a diehard stan for her since she was like not showing her face.
Yeah.
And even I'm gonna say before that, because she was initially going by her name, Gabrielle. And so I feel like her album, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted more, and it wasn't giving what it needed to get for me. That's for me though.
Let me add a person, and then let me jump back into that. Thundercat. I don't know how I wasn't thinking of him, but he's been huge for me with R&B. Like, if I'm just going straight R&B, not dance and electronic, like coming back to R&B, Thundercat's been huge for me. But so here's kind of like the journey I've been having with a lot of like the influx of R&B singers. Some of them, like, I can hear like that there's talent and there's sincerity, but I'm looking for the personality, because if not just with R&B, because I could go on and on about how rap is, but it feels a little templated. Not everything. I'm not saying everything's bad, but it's just like that same kind of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it takes me a little longer to sift through and find somebody whose kind of like signature kind of stays with me a little bit. So, you name some people that are clearly doing well, and I wish them well, because I'm glad that R&B that's meant to be R&B is here again. But, not everybody sticks with me right away. But, I've learned to separate something not being good versus maybe I just need to grow with it, or maybe I just need to see how somebody else might relate to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of records out that I know y'all relating to. Like, I know women, especially black women, like, I know they're writing for you. They're not worried about my black behind. Like, they're writing for y'all. They're talking about what y'all go through, and this is what it's for. So I get it, you know what I mean? But it might take me a little longer to kind of like find myself in some of the records. But that doesn't mean they're not totally talented and deserve to be where they are. But I just find my little quirks. Like, if we consider Smino R&B, I don't know. He like raps and does it, so it's kind of like, I don't know if he counts. His talent counts, but But like, yeah, no, all very talented artists, man. All people that I think out of that batch though, SZA's still my favorite. Remember when she dropped Hit Different?
It was we was locked down, so I don't think we could really.
We couldn't escape it.
Why we couldn't enjoy it like it's on one of my playlists. I love Hit Different. It's a vibe, and the visuals are good too. So I think that
I love that the Neptunes did it. I was just like, oh.
I'm gonna be honest. I still love Galore so much.
Yeah,
love
that's
Galore
what I'm saying.
Holds
like
a special place in my heart. I don't know why. Like
because you know what?
Not like
because it's a
like
vibe.
I can't relate to these lyrics for real, but it's just like a fucking vibe. Like
yeah, it's a vibe. It's a bop. I loved it, and then Travis's verse brought me in. You know what I mean?
Niggas.
Yo, I know it was a real nigga verse, but like that's a titty. Only thing that's up with me. Oh my god. But
I used to stand Travis Scott, man. Got lost in the sauce.
You know what? I have this policy. If I meet somebody, and they're nice to me and they're good people, I'm not, even if they do something later, I can't do it. I made that oath with Iggy Azalea. I met her before she was out of here, and she was the sweetest girl. I couldn't do it. I can't do it with Travis, man. I'm not doing it.
Oh, no. Okay, listen. It's different when you... It's kind of the same thing, like...
And I know they're public figures, so it's fair game, but it's just, that's my little personal...
Everybody fair game when you really think about it.
Yeah.
That's
just my little navigation. Like, it's like, I'm not going to
I'll tell you, this is the weird thing about Travis Scott. Because you remember, like, Quintana, like, all this stuff. So it's, like, similar to the Kanye effect. Like, now, here's the difference, though. Travis really, unlike Kanye, where he has said things that has directly affected a community of people that have lifted him up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say Travis Scott did that. I mean, we all have to sell out a little bit in our careers. I just didn't like how the whole Astro world imploded and how his response to it. That's all. That's why now I feel like Astro World and all that stuff was like better than the first two albums. Absolutely.
So are we talking the unfortunate events at his festival, or are we talking just the run of the album?
Oh no. I'm talking about the events. I just didn't like how that was handled by him. That was bothersome.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, he don't really talk.
Yeah.
He looked down.
Yeah.
He covered his face. He don't really say much for real. If we're gonna keep you 100. But unlike Ye, who has said things, and I'm glad that he pulled out of Coachella, and we haven't heard from him in a while since they deleted his Instagram. You know, they suspended his account. Great. So I hope he's doing the work that he needs to do, because Buddy is a mess. But it was just the spirit. And it's different because when we see these artists develop, and you and I, we have the luxury of being in spaces where we get to see people really come into their own. You might see a Travis Scott or a SZA perform at Webster Hall. I don't even think Webster Hall is open anymore, but something comparable, like a small intimate venue or a club setting. And you're like, oh, this person is about to be crazy. And I think that was the dopest thing about watching Travis Scott blow up. Because I remember the first time I saw him, I was like, I don't know who this nigga is, but I'm at this club and now I got a fro. And
I remember I met him. It was actually in Union Square, Best Buy. Big Shine was doing Hall of Fame. So 2012. And at this point, Big Shine was the name and Travis Scott was bubbling. But I guess they were traveling together, doing shows or whatever. So he just kind of had Travis like kicking it with him. And me and Byron, were there.
Shout out to Byron.
Yeah, we had a couple over the time we're still brothers, but like over the times we were like in the same spaces moving around over our friendship, we had times when we would bring beat tapes to people like, all right, we're gonna wait in line, we're gonna at least let's just give it to him to know he got it. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the times for Big Sean, but Travis Scott was there.
Okay.
And you could just go up and talk to him. He was just there. You know what I mean? And I got his email and all of that. Like, he didn't need me for beats, but like,
why you say he didn't need me for beats?
No, like when I didn't realize just how much of a producer he was. Like, like I learned. I'm like, oh God, no, he didn't need me at all. Especially for having his own stuff. I didn't give him nothing that he could have worked with. But anyway, like, yeah, you could just go up and talk to him, and then his profile. I can never do that now. I could do that now, but I couldn't do that as a fan. I'd have to be a peer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember meeting Big Sean at the Sprite Step Show in like 2009, maybe 2010. And I remember us being like, we sat through this whole Step Show just to see him because we was internet blog heads, and then we met him and all of that. And he didn't know when his album was coming out. Next time I saw him, it was the Best Buy thing on his second album. Hit Boy, I met him at South by Southwest. You could just go up and like, talk to him. Next time I saw him, he had security guards and a whole label worth of artists coming with him. Like, it was crazy to see this.
I met Hit Boy at it was a club called Colony out here, and they used to have these day parties. And I was like, "Oh, what's up?" Because like I said, you gotta come familiar. I was like, "What's
Chauncey?
up, Chauncey?"
Yeah.
He was like, "How you know me?" I was like, "Nigga, you produce like Niggas in Paris." It was like the biggest song at like the time. It was so funny, and he was like, "What's up?" Like,
no, he mad
so
chill.
Cool.
He's somebody I would definitely
be
friends with if we were just around each other enough. He's super chill. So yeah, but it's crazy. Like that's that aspect. Just kind of getting away from Travis a little bit, but that aspect was another thing that just kind of let me know this stuff ain't a fairy tale. It's work. Because you saw these guys be like 1 year off from being irrelevant to like boom. It's
And I think the first time I heard, I might have got introduced to Big Sean on a Mario track years ago. Like he was on, it was a Mario song that he was featured on. I was like, oh, who is this dude? Like I kind of like his flow or whatever.
I could have got you super hip. I wish I knew that. I could have got you hip.
No, but this was year. No, so it didn't leave. It stuck.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just became more and more intrigued. And then, he was running with Chris Brown and all that stuff. So then I really start to get into him. Big Sean is dope because I always, when we were in Cuba, we were at some random bar. The music was ass. And we was like, y'all got an aux cord. And we put the Marvin Gaye and Chardonnay and we're like, the motherfucker went up. So it was just like, I love Big Sean. I love who he has evolved to as well. So like you said, like a lot of people think that people are these overnight success and they don't see the groundwork, but I also get it how the industry is set up. It's like, okay, you might open for somebody and go on tour and you might not hear from anybody for a long time. Like Big Missa is a prime example of that because remember he opened for Beyonce.
Yeah.
And then Chloe and but they were her artists, so she was grooming them anyway, like molding them to become who they are today. But it's never it's like that, like you said, it's a night and day, and it's like do the work.
Yeah, that's literally what does it. There's no just being around, don't do it.
Yeah.
Just being around it, don't do it. Like at the end of the day, your stripes and your mileage is your stripes and your mileage, and the next person's is the next person's. It don't matter how close you get. So there's no substitute for the work, and when you embrace it, there's no substitute for the work. It makes you get busy. Like let me go ahead and like being in college, I could show up on campus, but if I wasn't going to class and knocking these grades down, that it don't matter. You get your degree, and I still just be some nigga on campus. So like the work is what validates you, nothing else. Proximity is cool, but you got to turn the key on that.
Yep. So that's real. Like that's something I've been learning and honing in on, even out here, trying to like level up, trying to be consistent. And one of the
doing
things
great, by the way.
Oh, thank you, friend. And I'm trying to like kick it up a notch because I have been so focused on being in the moment. Because as a person that gets like anxious, a lot of the things that you get anxious about sometimes are future things that don't even exist, that have not happened. So I have been really, really working on being present. And so sometimes, like now, it's like, okay, separate the two, just put this out there, just do this, and it'll be okay. And then just go back to being present.
Yep.
So now it's like, okay, now I'm trying to create a calendar, a content calendar. How can I shoot this window? What can I go here? Can I use, a friend's kitchen or whatever? Because I want to crank up like the podcast. And
I want to share something on this, and hopefully it'll help somebody else. My biggest lesson in doing the work and preparation came when I came out here to work for Karma Loop TV. They was, if y'all don't know what Karma Loop TV, they were like, think about what Complex was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Like that's what Karma Loop TV was. The difference is Complex had the funding and it kept going. Karma Loop started losing funding and went underground. But I came out here for them. They started melting. Video team went to Hype Beast, and I was just out here because I didn't have enough relationships yet to just jump. So I'm working at Guitar Center, and I'm working at the front door, and this is Guitar Center Union Square, so anybody could walk in, literally. And Donald Glover walks in, and this might be 2012, maybe early 2013. It's before Because of the Internet. Because, after Because of the Internet, we know who this man is. Everybody knows who he is. But before that, he could just walk around. He comes in, I know who he is. And, I chat a little bit, and he's just himself chilling. And he's like, yeah, I mean, you have like a card or something? I had nothing. I had a band camp with some old stuff on it that wasn't going to do him no good. So I got an autograph, and that was it. But there's a producer that I met years ago named Stephen Ponce from Chicago who was ready. He had already been DJing for like Cool Kids and MIA, already been producing with Classic. And Classic is a studio that Smino and Chance would work with in Chicago. And Stefan was ready. So wherever they met up, they clicked, and he produced 3005 for him. But his resume and his activity warranted that kind of opportunity. At that point, mine didn't. My intentions was there, but my resume didn't at that time. I didn't have nothing to show that man or to prove that man I need to be in the space. So that made me work even when ain't nothing going on, when nothing's popping. Prepare. You can't choose when your opportunity comes, but you can choose to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
So even when it's slow, when nobody's looking, that's your time. Like, yo, do I got everything? If somebody find me today and they ready to look at me right now, I pay for a Squarespace. I pay for 2 Squarespaces that sometimes my son's here. He's fine. You all right, son? Yes. All right.
Okay, because I was like, what just
half the time it sounds way worse than what it actually is. It's just but I pay for 2 Squarespaces that have gone certain months where nothing moves at all. But if somebody talks to me tomorrow, I need to be able to send them to something. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, is that sitting on inventory for months after season because everything was like shorts and t-shirts, but then we come back around to the spring and a new store is ready to take all of it. You know what I mean? So you can't choose when opportunity comes, but you can choose to be prepared. So whoever sees this, whatever you got going on, it may seem slow for you. It may seem like I don't really know if this is making sense. You don't know what opportunity you're gonna have, but you'll never see it if you're not prepared for it. So just prepare.
That's that. And on that note, we're gonna wrap it up.
All right.
Good. No, that was a very nice gem that you dropped, because I think we always think about nobody's paying attention and all that stuff, and like, when is it gonna be my time? But we don't know. And I have a buddy that just posted a video as well that said something similar. It's like, we be, waiting on the opportunity, or I think the opportunity is supposed to show up a certain way because that's what we're focused on. And so you have to let go of that in order to receive it. And it might not be how you thought it was going to be. And you just have to receive it. Be like you said, be ready and willing to receive it.
Yep.
So, all right, Blake, what the word? Tell everybody where they can find you, and tell everybody about your clothing line, because you have an amazing clothing line as well.
Thank you. So I'm at Blake Symphony everywhere, but I'm on IG and Twitter all day. So at Blake Symphony, the all day is bad. But the clothing line is Nomad World Citizen. There you go. Shirt, shorts. I wore it just for this. You know what I mean? Hat too. Nomad World Citizen. IG is at Nomad World Citizen. Website nomadworldctzn.com. Yeah, between all of those, you'll find me at Blake Symphony, at Nomad World Citizen. Yeah, engage with me, talk to me, man. Even if you don't buy nothing right away, just holler at me. Become part of the community.
I need some of those shorts. I just thought of an idea for an outfit in my mind when you stood up. I was like,
I'm gonna get you some. I'm gonna restock and get you some. The only ones I have left here are like XLs.
Oh yeah, what am I gonna do with that?
So I'm gonna get you some.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I'm gonna have to cop some stuff too. I like supporting my friends.
Appreciate you.
And y'all don't forget to shop the candles. New website coming soon, and I will be adding content there consistently and developing a Patreon as well. You know, for the exclusive fans that want exclusive content and hangout sessions and all of that. So I think that's something really, really dope to have. As well, and it's super, super important because I do have some people that really, really, really fuck with me. Not that everybody don't fuck with me, but there's some people that really, you get it, you understand, that are like VIPs. So,
yeah, absolutely.
But I want everybody to be a VIP. So definitely check that out when I drop that. That's something I am working on, and I will catch y'all here next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. And if you are on Spotify, we have this trans post where you can actually watch the visual as while you're listening. So if you, instead of having to go to the YouTube and watch it, there are a lot of people that like to watch. You can do that on Spotify as well. So just letting y'all know that is a new feature, and we've been testing it out. And I think Spotify, how they have it set up, it's really dope. It's super, super. You can really become really personal with your listeners. And that's all I got. So still building out stuff, trying to add stuff, and just going to be busy. And I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace.